For GEOG 778, I've spent the semester working on a web application that will enable Fairfax County government GIS officials the ability to compare their authoritative data with that of OpenStreetMap within a single web application. The benefit to bringing OpenStreetMap data into a web application with the authoritative data is that OpenStreetMap is a very tough source to work with, but it's also constantly being updated. And in a very popular area with a lot of people like Fairfax, it's very likely that people are making changes to it every day that might not be accounted for in the county government data set. So really by integrating these all within a single application, I'm hoping that'll kind of ease the process of being able to kind of keep tabs on the open source data in the community and really be able to start making changes that are going to be beneficial to the government and all the people that consume the data as a community. So when you enter my web application here, you can see the default is that a swipe widget is turned on. I have county government data here on the left, and I've got OpenStreetMap data on the right. This About panel kind of just describes the different tools that are available to a user. You've got the swipe mode. You have an editor widget that allows you to make changes to the county government data by using the feature services. There's a time slider widget that allows you to use the OpenStreetMap services and the date created timestamp that comes with each crowdsourced feature that will allow you to filter based on a certain time period. So you might be able to use 2019 to maybe pick up new features that don't currently exist in the authoritative data source. And you've also got a feature comparison tool that will allow you to query the map for about a mile and return all the geometries that are found across each data set and which ones are overlapping or unaccounted for, whether that be in the government data or the OpenStreetMap data. So the first thing I'm going to do is start working with the swipe widget, and I'm going to go and look for an area that I'm familiar with in Fairfax, which is right by Daniels Run Park. So if I go ahead and zoom in here, I'm going to turn off the footprint features because they're a little bit taxing to fetch from the server. And I'm able to start taking a look at this park here. The first thing I immediately notice is that the OpenStreetMap parcel looks very different along with the trail network. I can go ahead and click to the right of the swipe widget and I can pull up the OpenStreetMap attribution, and I can see that there's not really a lot here for this trail, but I do know it was created 3 years ago and that it's a dirt surface. I can also confirm that this is all part of the same park. If I click here, I can pull up that it's Daniels Run Park, created a couple years ago in OSM. And then if I click here on the left of the swipe widget, I'm able to pull up the government data, which also shows that it's Daniels Run Park. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just go ahead and digitize this trail right here. I can go to the editor widget here, and what this does is it strips out all of the OpenStreetMap data and only leaves the government data. And I can go ahead and just select from this panel right here of available layers, and I can just start digitizing that connecting trail network. Don't know the name of the trail, so I'm just going to leave that as being unknown. I don't know who maintains it. I don't know contact information. I do know it's dirt, and I do know that it was created sometime in 2016 or 2017. So I can go ahead and log everything that I know and just get it added, and it's immediately written to that service, and it shows up in the map immediately. So I'm able to go back to my swipe widget here, and if I go over to the government data side and click right here, I can immediately see all the features that I just populated for that newly created feature. Another tool that can be used within the application is a time slider widget. And I'm going to go over to another area for the time slider widget, which will be Jefferson District Park. The benefit of using the time slider widget is that you're able to filter on specific time frames. So when I go ahead and enter the time slider widget, you can see that everything is grayed out at this time. That's because it's set to this time interval that's defaulted over here. If I go ahead and extend this out, you can start seeing these features populate on the map. So in this instance, what I'm interested in looking at is only things created in 2019, because I'm trying to pick up features that might not yet exist in the county government data. So I immediately kind of pick up this trail here. There's a bunch of building footprints, and there's a park parcel right here as well. If I go back to my swipe widget and take a look at what's in the county government data, I can immediately see that this trail does not exist in the county government data, and neither does this park parcel. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up this park parcel here, take a look at some information on it. It looks like it's just a very small area, but I'm going to go ahead and add it anyways. And it's the exact same idea. You pull up the editor widget. I can just go right in here and just digitize the small park, and I can vet it later. But I can go ahead and just say it's a local park created by me. I can put a date stamp on it if I want to. And it's going to show up as a part of that feature service right when I add it. I can also use the editor widget to delete features. So if maybe I made a mistake or I'm not quite sure, I can go ahead and say I want to edit a feature, and I can click on this one that I've just created. I can either update the attribute table for it, or I can delete it altogether from the application, which is a nice thing to be able to do with the editor widget. The last thing that I'm going to show is the feature comparison tool. The feature comparison tool basically just takes both sets of geometries from the government and the OSM data set and just stacks them on top of one another in the map frame. And what I'm able to do is double click on the map, and it's going to fetch everything within about a mile's buffer and return a count over here as a donut chart showing all the features that exist in one data set that don't exist in another. This one was a little bit slow just because I had the building footprints on. I can go ahead and turn those off and kind of keep clicking around and get a bit of a quicker response. But in this instance, I'm immediately able to pick up that there is a ton of building footprints that are unique to the Fairfax County government data set that do not exist in OSM. The ones I'm interested in are these OSM features. Just like what we saw in the time slider widget before, is that this trail right here is unaccounted for. And that's what shows up in this kind of yellowish color that shows up in the donut chart here as there being 46 unique features to OpenStreetMap. So really the advantage of working with this feature comparison tool is that I can just go ahead and kind of click around and get a very quick idea of kind of what features are and aren't accounted for in each data set. So I just went ahead and turned off the footprints here, but I'm able to just immediately return, here's some park parcels that are showing up in the government data that are missing in OSM that I can kind of verify by just using the swipe tool right here. So it's a very useful tool of just really kind of getting an idea of a numeric standpoint at a local level, kind of what features you do and don't see across a data set. So really, to kind of wrap it up, the advantage of kind of working with this tool is that I've integrated the OpenStreetMap data with that of the government data, and it's going to give county officials a much easier interface to work with because you've kind of got a one-stop shop now for all different types of data that you can compare to one another.